Welcome to the FCIAC Football Podcast. I'm Dave Rudin. We're getting ready for the home stretch now of the high school football season. We've got 7 weeks down, 3 more games to play, and we got a little bit of craziness, which I'll write about and hopefully even talk a little bit about with my guests. But right now, with the 6 divisions in state play, if the season were over right now, we would have 8 FCIAC teams playing in the state tournament, which we'll talk about, and I'll definitely write about this week. And coming off another big win for St. Joseph with a 27-13 win over New Canaan. The cadets and Joe Delavecchia have been one of the great stories. But today we're going to go a little bit lower, but not real low in the standings. Talk about another great coaching job that's going on. I knew when I heard that Donny Panapada was getting the head coaching job at Stamford that we're going to see a turnaround with the Black Knights. He's got a long history of success over at Greenwich, over at Stamford Catholic, Trinity Catholic, and I know how long it was going to take him to turn things around. But on this weekend, he came away, helped lead Stamford to a 27-13 win over Brien McMahon, and a better than its record Brien McMahon team, and that puts the Black Knights at 3-4. So a team that's played a tough schedule, but a solid foundation is being laid down there at Stamford. And joining me is Donny. Donny, good to see you.
Good to see you, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Nah, thanks. Let's talk about what's been one of the good stories that hasn't been really discussed too much. We tend to live in the top of the standings and not look at other places. But I gotta believe, number one, you have to be happy with the win over McMahon, and I gotta believe 3-4 with your schedule, you have to be happy with what you've done so far.
Yeah, definitely excited about the win over McMahon. It was our senior day and homecoming, and the team played well, and very, very happy at where we are. Obviously, we're starting the foundation of building a program. We'd like to have a couple more wins, but yes, sitting at 3-4 and the progress we're making, I'm very happy with the team so far.
Let's just talk first about McMahon. And I saw McMahon against Walton, and they have a lot of good athletes on that team. That's not a bad team, even though they've struggled this season. What were you able to do to come away with the win?
Yeah, definitely McMahon. Coach Q is doing a good job over there, and we made plays. You know what I mean? Limited our mistakes, although we made some. But we made plays. EJ Presley, our sophomore quarterback, played an outstanding game. He made a couple plays with his legs, a long touchdown pass. Declan Nestor, senior captain, was all over the field defensively. And we were able to take advantage of some things and shut down their key players on offense. Our athletes, for the most part, outplayed their athletes because they have a bunch of athletes over there. They have good size, which I was a little worried about, but our kids played with emotion and effort, and we were physical, and we were able to come out on top in a tough game, but it was highly entertaining, and it was nice to see.
Now you sent me the stats on Declan for player of the week. He with 12 tackles, 3 sacks. He recovered an onside kick, forced a fumble. What did he?
He blocked a punt. He did everything.
Did he sell any food at halftime?
Actually, he played a little quarterback for us in our Wildcat, our monster package. So he's done everything. He's been terrific for us all year. He's a great student. He's a very good athlete. And he's been phenomenal. Anything I've asked him to do, and all our guys, I got to be honest with you, anything I've asked, and I've had some guys change positions, and had to persuade him a little bit, but the kids have been great in accepting what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. We have a long way to go, but Declan's an example of that. He was a linebacker. We moved him. Now he's coming off the edge as as a defensive end, outside linebacker. And he takes a little bit of a beating, but he keeps coming. He's relentless. And I'm lucky enough to have a lot of kids that fit that mold. We only have 8 seniors, and they're all on the field, which is great. And they're doing everything I've asked of them, and it's been a lot of fun.
I was up in Ridgefield last year when EJ Presley made his first start, and I'm pretty certain it was his first carry, and he went 80 yards for a touchdown. And it was, the rest of the night was all tough for Stamford, but you could see he's got athleticism, and he's doing a nice job for you too, both passing and running with the ball at quarterback. You happy with his development?
I'm happy with his development. He's a phenomenal athlete. Still learning the game of football, but he's capable of making plays. He had a 90-yard touchdown pass that he got some pressure and rolled out to his right on the run and hit Brian Rose in stride for a 90-yard touchdown pass. And then late in the game, in fourth quarter, we were up 7 points, I think, at that time, or maybe 7 points, 20-13. And another pass play that he takes off on, makes about 4 kids miss and goes 49 yards for a touchdown with 3 minutes left in the game to kind of seal it off. And he's just an athlete. And I told him, I went up to him at halftime. I said, it doesn't have to be pretty, just make some plays. And, he's a very good kid, and he's a phenomenal basketball player. And he's an athlete out there that's still learning the game, but he's a sophomore. I'm glad we have him here at Stamford High School, that's for sure.
And you got a couple of other playmakers, Ryan. You mentioned Brian Rose. He's got about 400 yards catching for you. He's having a really nice game. And JJ Salvatore are both doing good jobs for you, wide receiver.
Absolutely. JJ's been phenomenal. He had the first touchdown of the game. He's a junior for us. He's had a very good year. Now he's playing some defense. Brian Rose, he's a senior. He's one of our seniors, and he's explosive plays out of that position. So the wide receiver position. So, we are young in some spots. We start 10 sophomores. We only have 8 seniors, 18 juniors, and 28 sophomores. So, we're just trying to build things and go about it the right way. But I've been pleased with a lot of our kids, Mike Iorfino and Damian Puebla, 2 other seniors that I moved to defensive end, defensive linemen that were linebackers, and they've bought in, and they're getting it, and they've been overmatched, especially the last 4 weeks from a size aspect, and they're going to be the next couple of weeks. But they're out there giving it their all and trying to get after it, which is what it's all about.
And then it looks like you've been a run-heavy team, and it looks like you're getting pretty good contributions from Cameron Cord and Cameron St. Jean.
Yes. Yeah. Cam Cord is a sophomore for us. Has been very good. We have, trying to free him up a little bit, get him going. He did have a 50-yard or 55-yard touchdown run on Saturday, which was great. And Cam Jean Pierre, he's a junior for us. Yeah. And, he's another one that's explosive, trying to get these guys the ball. We are, up front on the offensive line is where we're thin. We do have 3 seniors up there, a sophomore and a junior. It's been a little bit work in progress. They are making progress. But again, the last 4 weeks, from a size, just size alone and strength, we've been overmatched. But our kids are competing. And we're making progress, and it's just the way the schedule is, and the opponents are, and we got another good sized team coming up this week in St. Joseph.
Yeah, I was going to say, for people not aware of the nice schedule Donny got to come into, before McMahon, he got to play Ridgefield, Trumbull, and Staples in order. And, now they get to celebrate that win, and they get ready to pound on St. Joseph and Greenwich the next 2 weeks. So I guess, when you're a big school and just, the way the schedule broke, but When you obviously, number one, when you took the job, you knew it was a good job. You weren't going to come back in, just out of desperation to coach. You were going to go to the right situation, which you obviously feel Stamford is. So what did you, and city football as well as anybody, what appealed to you about the job, and what did you think, what were your goals for this season? What did you have to do to make it a successful season? I don't know if you felt like success was going to be measured in wins and losses as much as maybe some things you see on the field.
Well, what I knew about the job is there's 1,100 boys in the school. We have what I believe is the greatest stadium in the state of Connecticut, Boyle Stadium. I grew up about 2 blocks away from Stamford High School, and growing up, I was a public school kid, elementary and middle school, and then when it came to high school, my father said, "Don, you got a decision: Fairfield Prep or Stamford Catholic." I said, "Dad, I want to go to Stamford High with all my friends." He said, "Okay, I guess you're going to Stamford Catholic." So, I grew up again near there. I spent a lot of Saturday afternoons there. My stepbrothers and my stepsister all went there. My parents graduated from there. So it was a very attractive job. I live 2 miles away. My oldest daughter just graduated from there. My middle daughter's a junior playing field hockey and lacrosse there. And I have a younger Liliana who's in 4th grade. But, there was a lot to look forward to, and that presented itself. As far as a successful season or not, we're starting from the ground up, building a program. The inner city schools really took a hit with the COVID, and it's kind of like starting all over. And Jamar Green, who was there for 9 years, did some things. We're looking to just continue that and build upon it. Is the biggest thing. And my first goal was making sure the kids show up every day. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So has that been accomplished? Yes, so far that's been accomplished. As far as wins and losses, 3 wins right now, 3 and 4. Yes, we'd like to be better than that. They won, we did win 1 game last year. It was Westhill on Thanksgiving. So if you're comparing that, yes. Are we building other things? Yes, absolutely. The biggest thing is to try and build a culture that people want to be a part of. Not only the kids, right? Because 1,100 boys. My goal is to get 10% of those kids involved in the program. Right now, we have 53 on the varsity program, and we have 37 freshmen. So we're heading in that direction. Not only a culture the kids want to buy into, but does the school, does the administration, does the athletic department, do the teachers, does the staff? All that is happening. I mean, the atmosphere at the game this past Saturday was electric. Matt Forker, our principal, has been terrific. Chris Passamano, our AD, has been terrific. They've been very supportive. The teachers in the building, it's just been a win-win. Now we got to keep that going. The season isn't over. And then we got to keep building on that in the off season, off-season weight room program. We have a lot of kids that play a lot of other sports. We have basketball kids. We got a ton of lacrosse kids. We got a few baseball kids, which is great. But the kids that aren't doing anything got to get in the weight room. We've seen that the last few weeks. They're just bigger, faster, and stronger than us. We have athletes. Now we got to just put together the rest of the pieces, and it's a work in progress. But I'm not one for moral victories, to be honest with you. But I think if you asked anybody besides me, they would say it's been successful so far.
I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, I don't know what hasn't happened that you could say should have happened at this point. And I know, even though I haven't been there yet, I do keep up, and there's been I know there's been a big buzz at the school about it. I know, that the big, the Think Pink version that Stamford does and raised a lot of money, as you guys always do, for the school always does, for the Bennett Center, which is is a great thing. I mean, Saturday just had to be a great atmosphere, and then to clinch it out with a win just had to really make it fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And the text messages I got received, yesterday from people and like, Coach, you really don't understand how great it was to watch and the feeling and the energy in the stadium. Hey, listen, we're coaching a game. I got my headset on. It's sorry.
No problem.
It's tough to know what's going on around you. You're focused in, but when you hear stuff like that and after the fact, and that's what we're trying to accomplish and create that environment so people want to be part of it, and latch on to it and build this thing together. I can't do this. I'm sorry, guys. Please leave a name and number, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great day. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So, that's what we're trying to build, and so far so good, and we'll see if we can keep it going.
No, it's fine. I mean, I go back to my Stamford Advocate days, and Boyle's just a special place. It's part of the fabric. It's part of the fabric of Stamford. It's part of the fabric of Connecticut, and it's always a lot of fun there when Stamford's got a good team, and it's got a good student body that comes out on Friday nights and supports the program. So I don't know. That's right. You have a daughter in the school. You have a good measuring stick to find out how the school is taking the program.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's good to see and good to hear. So
they just qualified for the state championship for the first time in like about 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. It was
great.
It was great. My daughter Victoria is on that team, and they're doing well. And we actually share the field with them for practice time.
Oh, really?
Because of our situation over there, but it's good. Hey, my daughter's on the team, so I gotta take what I could get.
As long as they don't get the goalpost, you're okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You're coming into St. Joseph and Greenwich now. The state poll will come out sometime this afternoon, and probably, allergy time here, looking at top 3-4 teams. Realistically, you have to tell your kids we're going to win the game, or else you shouldn't be coaching if you're saying we're going to lose. Mm-hmm. But realistically, what result, if you don't win, makes you say this was a positive week?
It's competing. It's about competition. It's energy, effort, and competing. And that's what we're looking to do. When you play these bigger programs, the Trumbolls, the Staples, the Richfields, get into the St. Joe's, the Greenwich ones, it's a good measuring stick to see where we're at. It's also a good teaching tool to let our kids know where we want to go, where we need to get to, okay, and what we need to look like, all right? Physically, these teams, when they line up against us, they're imposing to some of our kids. Okay. So now that's a goal that we need to get to. We have athletes. It's hard pressed to find teams that have more, to be honest with you. But it's the other little things. It's just not about having the athletes. So for us, I just want to see the kids go out and compete, make some things happen, learn, stay healthy, of course, always. But that's how we gauge things and come ready to play, which my kids have, and I don't see that changing this week against St. Joe's. I mean, they're a phenomenal football team. What Coach Dell has done this year under the circumstances and everything is it's just, he's a terrific football coach. And obviously we got our hands full, but we got to play our schedule, and we'll take it from there.
How much fun has this been for you being back out there? You can already talk, hear your enthusiasm right now. Awesome. know the answer.
Awesome. It's been awesome. And we've had I'll be honest, we've had some rough days here and there. But every morning when I get up in the morning, I look forward to getting to practice and getting around my kids. It's been terrific. I'm happy to be back in. I feel I'm at a place where I can make a difference. And I think we are, but it's been great. It's been great, and we got to keep it going.
How's the old Trinity staff doing? Ryan, Teggy, how are those guys doing?
Everybody's doing well. They're doing well. And, we're fitting in. My staff as a whole, we have 4 guys that are in the building that I've never worked with before. And we're learning each other, just like I'm learning the kids, to be honest with you, not being there. That maybe has been the toughest thing, because you don't know. And now, you get 3 weeks to prepare to open a season. And that's not that many practices and learning the staff and learning the kids, but it's been good. We're making progress. We're learning every day, and we just need to continue to make progress.
All right, before we finish off here, I thought this is something that's going to be a writing topic for me this week, but you would actually give good perspective. Somewhat controversially, the state decided to go from 4 to 6 divisions this year, so we're gonna have 6 state champions and not 4, which the idea was to give more teams opportunity. If the FCIAC, if the season were over right now, I'd be trying to figure out how I'm going to cover 8 FCIAC teams playing in playing in the playoffs. And you know what, I'd be happy if I had 16 teams playing, but it's a trade-off. Yeah, you have some more teams playing, but you got a lot of teams, not just FCIAC teams, 4 and 3, just over 500. The regular season games to me have become less important than they were. I like rewarding excellence. I'm old school. We don't need more than 4 state champions here. I think we need the right ones and addressing schools of choice and tech schools. But as somebody who has coached and won state championships and now coming back in, what you have a feeling on it?
Yeah, I do. I agree with you that 6 may be too many, but I think there needs to be a way for more teams to be involved in it. So obviously the whole wrench in the whole thing is Thanksgiving football, right? Because we can't expand the playoffs because of the dates and way it lines up. Me being at other schools that didn't have the traditional rivalry on Thanksgiving, a little bit different now. But I think that's the issue, why you have to go to 6 teams, or why they went to 6, so we can be more teams involved in it. We're not like the other sports that play 20, 22 regular season games. We have 10 games on our schedule, right? And we also have the longest season, right? So how do you balance that out so that there's enough teams that get involved, but not water it down? So it's a fine line. I don't have the answer. I know Coach Ross has done a lot of work on it, and I listened to some of the things he has to say, and I think he has it probably figured out the best of anybody I've heard from. But I'm all for more games for the kids, because we do play game-wise the shortest season, and for the longest duration of the season. But these other sports, they win 40% of their games, or whatever that number is, and they get a state playoff game.
And I don't like that either. It should be 50.
You know what I mean? So it's a tough call. I wish there were 4 levels to that playoff, and then you come to that 4 state championships. But how do you do it with Thanksgiving football?
Yeah, I'm going back and forth. I love Thanksgiving football, and that it's funny now, you being at Stamford, the person I always go back and think of and quote was the old athletic director there, Al Gurney. I remember talking to him once about, maybe it's time to give up Thanksgiving football, because it provides more versatility in how you run the football season. And he said, Dave, Thanksgiving is our Super Bowl. That is our state championship game. I don't know how many times we're going to get to qualify for it, so I don't want to give that up. And I understand that. I understand that there are a lot of schools that know they have little chance or no chance to get in, and so playing a big rival in front of a big crowd, that's their state championship game.
No, and which I agree with. And listen, we play West Hill on Thanksgiving, and we want to beat them, but my hope is
You're going to be playing games after that.
In my time here,
yeah,
we have goals that are much better, much larger than our last game being on Thanksgiving. So, and that's what I'm shooting for, and that's what we're building towards. But I do get it, with the rivalry games on Thanksgiving, which is great. Listen, I go back to the FCIAC championship on Thanksgiving.
I love that. I miss that.
Which I miss that too. You know what I mean? So
I'm with the coaches there.
Yeah, I mean that was
great tradition.
At Boyle Stadium.
It was great.
It was great morning, and everybody got to come out and see it and tailgate and fans from all over, and you get all the players used to be there, and remember they used to announce the all FCIAC teams and all that stuff, and it was just great. It was great.
No, I hate how you have a league, but you don't have a league championship. Yeah. I don't like that at all, but it's a complex situation. I don't want to just criticize, making it sound like it's an easy problem, but I don't think we're there with six. Personally, I don't think we're there with six champions.
Understandable.
But Donnie, you said your goal is to be playing football after Thanksgiving. I don't think you could have taken whatever happens here on in. I don't think you could have taken a much more positive first step than what you've done this year. So, and I'm certainly, as somebody who've covered you closely for a long time, not surprised at all. So, I want to congratulate you on what you've done with the team so far. Thanks a lot for taking the time here to talk with me, and continued success these last 3 games. I hope you guys can finish out strong.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everything you do for high school sports, Dave. We go way back. You know what I mean? And I appreciate it. And thanks for having us on.
Thanks, Donnie. It's fun having you back in the league.
Thank you. Thank you. Fun to be back.
And that's the FCIAC football podcast for this week. Again, I want to thank Donny Panapada from Stamford High for joining me. And I want to thank Cooper Boardman for the sound editing. Have a good week, everybody. We'll do this again next week.